video editor, a big part of my job can often be to make my clients feel as confident as possible on camera through the magic of editing. And that oftentimes comes down to smoothing their skin or sharpening up a certain shot. And so today I am so excited to share with you this plugin from my friends over at Boris Effects for Final Cut Pro called Beauty Essentials. Beauty Essentials can absolutely bring so much more confidence to your clients on camera, as well as fixing shots that might have gone wrong on the shoot day. When you install Beauty Essentials, you're going to see a whole bunch of different categories here in Final Cut Pro. BCC blur, color and tone, image restoration, lens, lights, and optical diffusion. Unfortunately, this video would be far too long if I were to show you every single effect, but I'm going to show you a few of my favorites. The first one that I want to start with is Beauty Studio. Let's go ahead and click and drag and apply it onto this shot. Even without me changing a single parameter on here, you can already see the massive impact it's having on this scene. So I'll disable it and re-enable it, and you can see how much smoother her skin looks. But a problem I have with a lot of different skin smoothing plugins is while it does smooth out the skin, a lot of the time it doesn't retain the really minor details. And so rather than looking better, it just makes the person look plasticky and fake. But BCC Studio has so many different options that you can really adjust and make it look as realistic as possible while still smoothing out the skin. So what we can do is actually adjust all of these different parameters. I'm going to go ahead and adjust the master amount, and that is kind of an overall blur on all of the skin. Now, if you use this too much, you're definitely going to go way too far. So I just like to leave that right around that 100 mark. Depending on the shot, I might drop it a little bit down. Then there's also the smallest details, and you'll see how that's actually bringing back a lot of the finer details while still smoothing out a lot of the larger imperfections. Then we've got the small details, and we can just adjust that a little bit here and there, and the medium details. Then if you want to go even a level further, we can increase the detail level. So currently it's set to 3, but I could set it up to 5. And now you'll see there's large details and largest details. Now, if you don't want to even play around with those different settings and you just want to look really quick, you can come up to the effects editor. In here, you're going to see all of these different presets that are made for you. Of course, we've got the default look, we've got the aged look. So if you actually want to make somebody look older, you could go that route. Aged and faded, commercial sheen, so it has that really nice soft looking skin look that you see in a lot of commercials. So there are a ton of different options you can play around with to get a good starting base, and then you can work your way up there to get it looking more and more real. Moving further down, we can go ahead and collapse the smoothing and expand the matte choices here. Now with our matte choices, this gives you a lot of fine control over the exact color scheme that you're selecting. So right now it's selecting a color range between color A and color B. What we can do is use the color picker, and let's say I want to pick a nice highlight of the skin, maybe somewhere there. And then on color B, we can go ahead and select a nice shadow, maybe somewhere around the nose. And so what that has done is it selected the two colors on our actress's face, which then gives you finer control over just that selected area. And this is great for people with diverse skin colors. So I really, really love having this option. Now, what I'm gonna do is change our view from output over to matte, and that is going to give us a black and white view of this particular effect. In here, we can adjust stuff like the hue softness, so I'll slide that up a little bit. We can adjust the saturation, the luma softness, and the black clipping, so we could drag that up, maybe get rid of a little bit of the background there. And our white settings, we can drag that back. I'm gonna go ahead and reapply this back to output, and we can come further down and find the color correct option. So I'll expand that out. We can enable the color correction, and we could also enable the use matte. So this is going to use that black and white reference image we had. If I don't enable this, the entire image is going to be affected. So now if you needed to do some skin corrections, we could adjust our hue. I'll go ahead and push this way too far. You can adjust your saturation. We could bring that up maybe. We could bring up the brightness a little bit. Adjust our contrast and our temperature. We could maybe warm it up a little bit. And again, I'm pushing this too far so you can get a good idea of all the options. But you'll see how that is just affecting our selected matte. But if you happen to find maybe you have a lot of skin colored objects in the background or something along those lines, that is where this plugin really shines, because it has Mocha masking built directly inside of it. So we'll go ahead and scroll back up to the top and find the Mocha masking features. I'll go ahead and click and open that window up. And now what we can do is I'll select the magnetic tool, and we're just going to create a quick outline around our actress. So now we have her face masked out here, but let's say we don't want to affect where her eyes are. We can come up to this X-spline tool, click and hold it down, and find this X plus tool. Now if we go ahead and create a little mask around her eyes, can do just that, and I'll go ahead and create one more mask. Now if I push option 1, that is going to actually show our mask, so you can see how it's filled in with the white and how around her eyes are cut out. We could even do the same thing around her lips, but I won't bother with that today. So we've got this basic mask going. Now you'll see this little green arrow indicates where I originally set up the mask. So what we need to do is go ahead and track forward in our scene, and Mocha is going to do all of its Mocha tracking magic. And then we can bring the playhead back to our original green arrow and track backwards. So Mocha has done all of its tracking. If we play through, we can see how the mask just sticks to her face. And from there, we can come up to the top left and press save and then close it out. And so now all of that tracking data is going to be inside of Final Cut Pro. Now I've definitely pushed it too far. You can see how there's these harsh lines. So we can go to the pixel chooser options, find our masking options, and we could drag up the mask feather, soften those edges a bit. So now we're not affecting her eyes, we're just affecting her skin tones. So this can be so powerful and making your clients feel way more confident on camera, because you can get their skin tones looking just right. You can make it look extremely realistic by retaining all the detail in the eyes. So I really love using Beauty Studio on my videos. But that is barely scratching the surface of everything this plugin can do, because there are a whole host of other plugins that come with it. One of my favorites is Magic Sharp, and I love using this on scenes that were maybe shot a little bit out of focus. So we can come on down and click and drag Magic Sharp onto our scene, and already you can see how much better the results are. I'll go ahead, disable it, and you'll see how it's got softness in her eyes, and then re-enable it. It's almost like I'm up-resing it in a way or something like that. So I really love Magic Sharp, and I haven't touched any of the settings. If we go in, we can adjust our sharpness amount, our sharpen threshold, sharpness radius, all of those different options, as well as detail tuning. So currently it's set to just one fine pass, but there are actually multiple options that we can enable here. So we can enable the small pass and really drag that up. We can enable the medium pass and again drag that up, and of course we can enable the coarse pass. But what's really powerful with this is that we can also use Mocha masking. So if you wanted to sharpen somebody's eyes, you could easily add tracking markers around their eyes and adjust your sharpening so it looks very realistic without being overly digital. Now there's one last effect I want to quickly show you. If we take a look at BCC color and tone, you'll see BCC defog. I have this slightly hazy shot here. The mountains are off in the distance, but I'll go ahead and click and apply BCC defog, and you'll see how much more contrast that brings into the scene. It's kind of like Lightroom's dehazer. It brings in that contrast. You can really see the clarity in the mountains. And again, I haven't even touched the settings, so we could adjust our defog amount right here, our minimum depth amount, our maximum depth, and then you could even come in and adjust your colors using these different sliders. But on top of that is, again, of course, the Mocha masking, which is where this plugin absolutely excels and why I think it's better than a lot of the rest. I think it is an exceptional plugin, and I'm so excited for all of you to get your hands on this. There are links down below. They are affiliate links and they do help me out. But if you are interested in getting a plugin that has the Mocha masker completely free, then I highly recommend that you check out this video where I show a free plugin from Boris FX that does just that. With that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one.